A lot of shops are talking about how they're slowing down recently. Well, Lombard Equipment comes on today, and we talk about some things that you can take advantage of while you slow down a little bit in your shop.
Welcome to Body Bangin', your podcast for all things body. Auto body, that is. And now, introducing Body Bangin's host, Mickey Woods of Mickey Woods Marketing. Mickey is a former auto collision center owner and is now a marketing and business development expert to shops across the globe.
Hello, and welcome back to today's episode of the Body Bangin' Podcast. Normally, during the Southeast Collision Conference, I would introduce the sponsor of the podcast and talk a little bit about them. But today, we've got them on. What's up, Lombard Equipment? We've got Kevin Lombard and Dave Karen. Hi.
Hi. How you doing?
Good. So for those of you guys that have been listening to this series, Lombard Equipment has been sponsoring this entire series of the speakers from the Southeast Collision Conference, and it's been amazing. For those of you guys that don't know Lombard or aren't sick of me talking about them before every episode, these guys have been in business for a long time, since 1991, so over 30 years, which is so exciting. They are serving Maine to Miami, but one of the things, there's a lot of things I love about your company. First of all, you guys know that I love these guys. They're just really good people. Everybody that works at Lombard Equipment is good people, and everyone that works with Lombard Equipment says the same thing, which says a lot about not just you, Kevin, but the company as a whole, because it's good people across the board and people that really want to help the industry. So I'm so grateful to have you guys as the sponsor, but also that there are people like you out there helping our industry. You're not just selling equipment. You're not just slanging something for the sake of slanging it. You really are there to help the industry. And these guys not only sell equipment, but they provide training on the equipment they sell in your shop. And they support you on the equipment that you buy. If you need help afterwards, it's in-house support. So so many amazing things where they go above and beyond and aren't just, you're not clicking a button, adding it to your cart and buying it, and you don't know what you're going to get. So I know that's a whole big intro for you guys, but I really want to give you guys the kudos that you deserve right out of the gate. And just thank you guys for coming on today. We're going to chat. It's not just going to be all me fluffing it up. We're going to chat today.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mickey, for the kind words. We certainly appreciate that.
Yes, yeah.
Very much.
Of course.
Pleasure to be here. We're excited.
Yes. Now, one thing that I did want to talk to you about, and we talked a little bit before we came on the air, that we all agreed would be something good to talk about. We're seeing in the industry right now, we see the ebbs and flows in our industry. It's been going on since we've all been in the industry, right? We've seen it. We see it come up and it comes down. And when it's up, we're riding the highs and we're like, oh, everything's good. And then it's slow and everybody's in a panic. But yet there are so many opportunities to be had if you're a shop that's slowing down. And I hear it all the time. Are you guys hearing on a regular basis? Because you're in shops. You're not just selling equipment. You're in shops. You're helping them with their equipment. Are you hearing shops also slowing down?
Yes. That is obviously an objection and that we hear. And it's interesting because even though a lot of times, Mickey, when shops say that they're slow, they don't have the 2-month backlog or the 6-week backlog. So they're actually really not slow. I mean, they're busy, they're filled, the shop is filled, but they get used to always being so swamped where you have an incredible backlog. The backlog peters out a little bit and they go and they're pulling the fire alarm.
Right.
When in reality, we'll ask them, well, the shop looks pretty busy. Oh yeah, and then we'll get that. They'll tell us that it's just not quite the backlog. So it's a psychological thing. Mm. And then we'll kind of lower our voice and we'll say, let me ask you a question. And they'll go, yeah, sure. We'll go, how long have you been in business? They'll say 35 years. And we'll say, have you ever seen it get a little slow before or not quite as much? And they'll go, well, yeah. And then we'll say to them, whether you're in the hotel business, the retail sales business, the collision repair business, there's ups and downs, and this too shall pass. It really is. So a lot of times it's just how they're seeing it, and they're kind of getting worried over something that hasn't even happened yet. And so a lot of it is psychological than actually, than reality. The shop is still busy. And it's just kind of, they don't have that big backlog, because most good shops in today's world are constantly slammed. They can't get the work out fast enough. They don't have enough good employees and all those, those challenges that they have. But all in all, the shops are doing fine, and this too shall pass. And it's, of course, year, so you'll hear people use that. And even though it's like the shop will be busy, and they'll say, well, it's an election year, we're going to wait and see what happens. It's like, what does that have to do with people getting in accidents? And really nothing. It really doesn't. But it's psychological, because it's all over the media. You got to watch that little tube hanging off the wall, that flat screen, because it can be disempowering if you let it.
Absolutely. So Dave, when you're hearing shops that are slow, and they truly have slowed down, and you're right, Kevin, they went from having 2 months scheduled out to all of a sudden they're just taking in cars like they used to. So it's like, panic. There's benefit to that. What are some of the things, Dave, that you're encouraging them that, like, hey, things may be slower than they used to, or maybe things truly have slowed down to what it was pre-COVID? What are some of the opportunities that exist while they're in that state of being less crazy? Maybe let's call it that.
Yeah. Great question, Mickey. So I would definitely say that just being able to take that opportunity. I mean, I think we all go through the craziness of life. I know we were just talking about it earlier about being busy, and just being able to kind of refocus that energy, on your business, on your employees, cleaning house, getting reorganized, resituated, kind of going through your procedures and processes in-house and your flow. Obviously, looking at your equipment needs and being able to retool, the training. There's never a good time to do iCar classes or to take training, right? I mean, it's normally an all-day thing, and that is something we hear that a lot. A lot of times, even going in with equipment, and guys, we're too busy. We don't want to look at a new piece of equipment now, or we don't have time to do training. And it's a great opportunity, I think, across the board, and just to be able to kind of take a breath, reassess things, refocus that energy, and get prepared for when it does ramp back up, because it's gonna, it always does. And I think this time of year, I think with school getting out in the summer in the heat, I think we see this. This is kind of typical around this time of year where it does slow down a little bit. But I always enjoy when it slows down a little bit. It's always nice to get a little break to catch your breath.
Yeah. Yeah. And you make a good point. I know, like, when I owned my shop and it was equipment time, like, okay, time to purchase a new piece of equipment. It felt like an undertaking, doing the research, trying to figure out exactly what piece you're going to get. Then you get it in, and then you're going to do training to learn how to use it. And then there's kind of the ramp up to the tech or whoever is going to be using it feeling comfortable on that. I imagine there's still that still exists. So kind of to your point, it seems like take advantage of the slow time, that because there is some type of ramp up period from the time you decide you need a piece of equipment to the time you're fully functioning with that piece of equipment. There's that gap there, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, there definitely is.
But there'll be a lot of guys that will go in to do a demo, and they say, Dave, I'd love to have you bring that in, but right now we're just so busy, we're swamped, and they don't want to take that time. So even if we end up by getting them to take a look at it, to do that, it really makes it tough, because we're just in there, doing the repair with them, showing the equipment, and it really makes it tough for us to train them properly, because they go. The owners want to get cars done in the cycle time and all those things. So it really is a nice time when it does come back a little bit. They can do it in a much more relaxed environment, and that's a great time where they can, because there's welding a vehicle but together is one thing. Showing the guy how to properly prep the vehicle and use the tool is something else. And a lot of times they're kind of like, we have to go with the tempo of the shop, because they're the customer. So if they want us to just get into it and do it, then we have to kind of like. We can't do our job quite as well, because they're so fast paced. And these guys, when they get work in the shop, they want to get it done and get it out. So we kind of like doing that when it's a little bit slower environment. We feel like sometimes we can give them a lot more information on the training side.
That makes sense. 100%.
And I think, Mickey, too, even you had mentioned about like having to do that research. And that's what's nice if you do have a local distributor that could potentially come in and bring in maybe multiple pieces to be able to show you, your technicians in person, let you guys try or demonstrate, get hands on. And most local distributors do that. I know we certainly do. And just rather than, again, even when it is slow, you're still busy, especially as a business owner or a manager.
Right.
So to have that time to try to research online, and you can't always believe what you read online. So what better way than to get a local distributor to be able to come in, be able to let you and your technicians try a welder or, whatever product, dent puller, hands on, and help make the best decision,
Yeah. Well,
So.
and kind of what you're saying is I'm thinking when I'm really busy in business, oftentimes the biggest mistakes I make are because they're rush decisions. Like I'm doing something because it's like, I just got to get it done. So I'm just going to make a decision. It may not be the best one, but I got to make a decision. And it's oftentimes uninformed. It's emotional because it's just like, So
I think that's a good lesson for life. I think we all do that. Seriously. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Along that lines, we've had customers with us who have, because they rushed or for whatever reason, bought something they weren't really happy with. And I can say we're one of the few businesses where we've gone back and swapped it out and got them in something that they were happy with, because we really care about the customer. We want you to, if you go on our website, there are literally hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of 5-star reviews. And we work hard to maintain that. And it's all about the customers. And, we say at Lombard Equipment, if you take care of your customers when you don't need them, they'll be there when we need them. And we really try. So if a guy does make a rush decision and he calls one of us up and says he's unhappy, we talk to him, ask questions, and find out. And we want to make the customer happy. We really do. And we've done it. We're saying, okay, let's take that. Let me show you this. Okay. And then we go in and we take care of them. We really do.
Yeah. I love that. And everybody that's worked with you guys, that's what they say. I mean, really the support, the training, the care that you have for the people that you work with is really unparalleled. I mean, what more can you ask for, really, as a shop?
Yeah, and we really that's so important to us. It's like it's everything. And as being the president of the company, having like 4 different companies, to get somebody on the phone today, I have a problem with something that we've done business with, is like, it's insane how much everybody, email me. What? When you have a problem? And that's what they want to do. They want you to email. And it's insane. So with us, we obviously use emails, a lot, but you can still get one of us on the phone and talk to us. And we care about the customers, and we're going to do whatever we can to make sure they make us happy. And that's huge to us. And it works out so well because these guys, in fact, we just saw a new video. We have a full-time guy that just does videos for us and testimonials and shops. And it's just customer after customer after customer after customer saying, I looked around, I tried different equipment, and we went with Lombard Equipment. We've had it for a while. Support's good, the product's good, and it's huge. And so when we see those coming up on social media, and there's literally dozens and dozens and dozens of guys that are doing testimonials that are just speaking from the truth. And this guy is not a technician, he's just a video guy, and he asks questions, and they just kind of talking from the heart, and we just get it on film, and it's powerful.
Yeah, very powerful. Well, and I realized that I didn't really introduce you guys properly. So Kevin is speaking now. Kevin Lombard put it together of Lombard Equipment, the guy. And then we've got Dave Karen, who's the other guy, the leads head sales manager guy of all things, wears lots of hats and does lots of things. And
when I screw things up, Dave goes in and fixes them.
Tries to. When he screws it up, it's not an easy one.
I do it good. But when I do it, Mickey, I'm very serious about it. If I'm going to get the vehicle stuck, I'm going to get it right down to the frame.
Right. All the way. Go all the way or don't go at all. I like it. Well, and that's an interesting point that you brought up, Kevin, is when somebody purchases equipment that they're unhappy with outside of Lombard, because it sounds like you're talking about if they buy a piece of equipment with you and they're unhappy with it, you'll swap it out and do something. Now, if they were to purchase a piece of equipment with somebody outside of Lombard and they're struggling with it, they're not happy with it, it's not, whatever the case may be, how do you guys handle that situation?
We actually have a a therapist that goes in and gives them therapy.
Send her over. I'd like her over here.
She's actually on our payroll, so we can arrange for that.
Perfect.
We get her full time.
Sometimes it's just weeks and weeks and weeks. We feel sometimes that we're not even making any headway.
No.
Hey, that's a very good point. We just actually have we had actually like 40 pieces of equipment just in our welding division that were all trade-ins that customers were unhappy with the product. And that we're just that for one reason or another. But most of the time, it comes down to service and support after the sale.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what most of the time. The product's over in the corner like this with bumpers up against it. They can't get anybody on the phone. They can't get somebody to return phone calls, not respond to an email. And once a lot of people get their money, it's sad. They get their money and they just want to the next one. And and we come in and we see them and they just say, we try to do what we can to help them. But mostly that was 41 welders. And most of the time that was because of they traded them in because they couldn't get service, they couldn't get support, and they were just on the product.
So now will you guys come in and give them support on that product, or do you help them by purchasing it from them or trading it with them? I probably every circumstance is different, I'm sure.
Yeah, it definitely is. Each situation's unique in itself. If it's something that our technicians are capable of being able to offer support or training, we absolutely will. Especially if it's one of our customers, we're always going to do everything we can to help them regardless. If it's something we're unable to help or can't get parts for, then we could possibly look at, trade-in options and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
But we're always trying to do everything we can to help them regardless. I mean, that's,
right.
At the end of the day, that's what it's about, is helping the customers. So,
well, because equipment is such an expensive piece of business. It's, they're very expensive, especially these much bigger, elaborate pieces in the shops. And so to have something that you're not fully using to its max capacity or capabilities is just heartbreaking as an owner to know that I just dumped a whole bunch of money into something and now we're barely using it. Or like you said, it's even if it's a weld or something sitting in the corner, it's a waste. And here we are, especially when shops are slower, trying to keep as much profit as possible to see those types of things. That's all profit leaking away when you're not utilizing the pieces of equipment that you've bought for your shop. I mean, that's another piece, another way to think about how can I improve my business during the slow times? How can I make it more profitable? Use the equipment you purchase. Make sure you're using it to its max capacity. Make sure everybody's trained on it and using it to get them so it can be the most efficient for your shop.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And my heart goes out to these guys because they work so hard for their money. The collision industry, it can be a very good business, but you must be on your game. You must be educated. You must continue to get educated. You must be going to seminars. You need to be staying in touch with all the changes, and there's a lot to it. And if you're doing that, you can make a living, but you work for your money. And when we see them come in and they've invested thousands of dollars in something, and the guys just don't like it, sitting in the corner, it doesn't work, and it's just going. It's painful.
Right. It is. It's physically painful as an owner to see it happen. Yeah.
And when we have compassion, so that's why we recommend before this is capital equipment. And I know we talked about it before. Don't buy it online. You use the internet to gather your data, learn about it, do your research, but get somebody to come in and talk to your technicians, look at your power, your voltage in your building, and just talk to somebody who's educated, but get somebody to come to your shop and then ask them, if this breaks down, who fixes these? How long you've been with them? How long's the company been around? And ask those questions and, get yourself educated, because they can be very smooth talking and you get the money and then they're gone, and they're gone. And we come in. The reason why we don't like that, it's like a body shop, not liking a shop that does bad work. Because the customer's pissed it off, so if you're an equipment company and you don't have good service and good after the sales support, it makes us look bad. We come in through the door and they kind of got, they got taken advantage once. So they're kind of like, oh, no, we're all done buying stuff like that. Like, whoa, so it hurts us all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, because this is a shorter conversation with you guys today, I wanted to pivot to something because I had heard that you have this piece of equipment out. And when I first heard about it, it sounded like a frame machine. And as I learned more about it, this is like the jack, or what is it called? The thing you pull out of your pocket with all the knives, jackknife?
Yeah, the Swiss Army knife.
Swiss Army knife.
That's it. Swiss Army. It's the Swiss.
Multi-tool.
Sounds like the Swiss Army knife of equipment. Yeah. Like, tell me about this thing that you guys have.
Yeah, so I think you're referring to the Bronco XL.
Yes,
that we actually just debuted at the Southeast Collision Conference this year. That's our newest addition to the Chisholm line. It's 2 feet longer than our regular Bronco, which we debuted last year. I think it was the regular Bronco. So it's 2 feet longer. It's 16 feet long. But yeah, it's got a lot of really, really nice features. Kevin, I'll let you, because I know you're very passionate about this. I know this one's your baby, so I'll let you go ahead and give the team a little more information on it.
I just pulled this out from under my pillowcase.
It's beautiful.
I think he actually walks around with that right in his pocket, actually. But
yeah, he's holding a brochure with it.
But it actually, Lavelle Chisholm built his first machine in 1969. And it's nice to see us still rolling Chisholms off the line. And here, this new model, it's we say revolutionary because it does so much more than just what like most pieces of equipment. Like guys have mid-rise lifts, and they have regular high-rise lifts, and they have floor systems to pull. To do light pulls, and they have drive-on machines to do, heavy collision. Then they have jig benches to do jig work. Well, this is all of them in one.
Wow.
Machine. So every vehicle that comes through the shop can go on this, whether you want to use it, in an estimating bay, whether a technician wants to use it to do work on a bumper, a rocker panel, because it has, a totally adjustable height, and it's low profile, anywhere from 5 to 7 inches, depending on the Bronco or the XL. And it'll do small unibodies up to full-size 1-ton vehicles on it. You can use truck with it, kind of get full plane truck anchoring. If I want to do a radius support, I can drive a vehicle on in seconds, put a chain on it, and just tie it down quickly to pull a quarter panel or something light. If you have an appraiser coming in who's going to write an estimate, put it on that and get it up in the air so we can see the damage. I mean, it's like 10 pieces of equipment in one, and the people that have them are loving them, and the quality is phenomenal with it, and being able to use it for jigging is just huge, because a lot of guys want about jigging, but most of your jigging benches are mega bucks. We sell them, and they're not sure how the electric vehicles are going to go. Is that going to happen? And so this gives you the comfort to make a real comfortable small investment. If down the road that's where you want to go, this is all set, ready to go to add select fixtures to it. So it's really kind of gives them the comfort to, that they can grow into this down the road, and still get every vehicle, because most of your benches or your systems that do jigs aren't very super, what I would call ergonomical. They're a lot of work to set up, and unless you're doing a big job, you're not going to really use that. So most of the time, it's over in the corner. Right. Where this is every car, every vehicle comes through the, small, big, light, hard hit. Everything that comes through the shop can go on it, and so it's super versatile. And the price, the specials that they're running on these are phenomenal. And I encourage, if anybody's thinking about any type of lift in their shop or any type of updating the pulling system, you got to watch the 80-second video. It's powerful. It's cool. It really is. It's interesting because I've been selling frame machines for 47 years. Before I started Lombard Equipment, I worked for another company. We're selling frame machines for years. And it's been a long time since guys have been excited about a frame machine. Like when we go in with our new spot welders, they're really blown away because of the technology. This new Bronco XL has got a lot of guys like, oh, it's unbelievable. My guys are using it every day. And it's kind of like, wow, that's how I feel about it. But the guys that have them, because most guys talk to about a frame machine, it's like, it's a frame machine. Right. No, not a frame machine. It does frame work. That's one of the things it does. But it's just it's a lot, and it's a really cool machine. Watch the video. It's and if you're thinking about something like that, you got to check it out. It's super cool and very, very popular. The guys that have them love them, and we're going to be releasing a whole testimony of guys that just have this new Bronco. And the only thing I will, this disclaimer, it's been causing people not to sleep good at night because they're so excited. But we're working on coming now. We don't want any type of drugs. We're trying to get something organic to help them still sleep at night.
This is it. See, it's a Swiss Army knife. It does all the things, not just in your shop. Help.
Hey, Dave, at the show, everybody that saw it, what was the response at the Southeastern show, which was an amazing show, by the way? We missed you not being there.
I know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Everyone loved it. A lot of great responses. And a couple of guys, actually, the one right from the show, get delivered right to a shop in Tennessee, right off the floor. But yeah, a lot of great feedback.
And it's a real pretty machine. The welds on it, the machining, the tooling, the powder coating, the fit, the finish, everything about it is.
Love it.
At a super introductory price that they're doing from the factory to move them. So it's something that, in fact, I want to. You don't have one yet, do you, Mickey, for your house?
Can we give her like the employee discount too?
Yeah.
Settle down.
Yeah.
Settle down.
That's exciting. It's so funny. My family thinks I'm crazy because I get all excited about this kind of stuff. And as I'm hearing you describing it and you're so excited and I'm getting excited, like
you want one, don't you?
Yeah. And the finish. And I'm like, whoa. And I see the pictures. I'm like, it's so beautiful. Oh my goodness.
We actually offer that in pink too, Mickey.
Oh, well, done. Sold.
Thank you.
That was all I needed.
We'll have our people call your people.
Yes.
but we know, Mickey, we know body shop technicians, they love shiny paint, quality welds. Because don't forget, these guys every day take something that's like this, smashed, and have to make it nice and new and shiny and straight and good lines and attention to detail. And so that's what this machine, it just packs a truckload of that. And the coolest thing is every vehicle going through the shop can go on it. So your ROI is huge. It's not sitting over there like some big rack that we sold 35 years ago. That's, we had one in our shop the other day and I walked in, I go, what the heck is this space gobbler doing in here? Seriously, it was a big old machine that we had sold. It was like 30 feet in length. I go, wow. I go, get this out of here because it takes up so much room. And a lot of times that's what the guys have that are doing those big old drive-ons that, yesteryears that was fine. They were applicable. That was the kind of work you were doing a lot of pulling. That's not the trend of today. That's not the trend of today.
Well, and you made a really good point with the EV thing, because there are shops that are not fully on board with the EV. So it's like, do I need to go and spend all the money? Do I not? It's really like, it's the big question. I just posed it on LinkedIn the other day. Like, is EV a trend? Is it here to stay? And shops are wondering the same thing. Is it worth it to spend all this money on the equipment? Where this is a great piece of equipment that allows you, if you want to push forward into that, you can adapt into that and really go hard, but you can still, it gives you the opportunity to dabble without fully being committed to make that massive financial investment.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, that's the huge thing because as if we have a change in leadership this year, the EV thing's going to take that's going to settle down,
Yep.
So we don't know what's going to happen, and that's a lot of money to go down that road. So if you want to go down that road, which I think eventually with composite fiber and these new materials coming down, that we are going to be going down that road eventually. When, I don't know. So this gives you the comfort to invest in something that's not crazy money that you can use every day and make a ton of money with it and get your technicians up off the floor and give them a better quality of life and save their knees and have them be more productive. I mean, the American Lift Institute did a survey years ago and found out if you took a technician and got them off the floor and had them stand up ergonomically the way we're designed, their production goes almost up like 22% because we're not designed to crawl around on the floor. So,
wow.
technician should be allowed to stand up. With this machine, I can put it at any height that I want and literally walk underneath the vehicle, or I can pull in any position. It's just watch the video.
22% more efficient?
Yes, than the guy working on the floor.
Wow, that's incredible. Well, I'm going to link to the video. So in the show notes below, if you're watching this or if you're listening, you can go to the description of this episode and click to go watch that video that Kevin's talking about.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's nice that if they're interested, they'll reach out to us. And it's nice when you go in. Our goal is almost every single tool that we carry. When we go back in and we call them up, how's it going? We ask them, how you doing with it? Are you happy? And the response on this has been phenomenal. It really, the guys love them.
Now, what about, because I know you guys are on the East Coast and we've got a lot of listeners that are not. So now how does that play out? If they wish they could work with you, can they work with? How does that work?
Absolutely. With Chisholm, anywhere in the country.
Okay, cool.
We just sent one out to Minnesota. We went out there ourselves, installed it, did the training. The guys are loving it.
Nice. Okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna. If you've been watching if you've been watching this on YouTube, then you're seeing the pictures flashing up, and then you can also click the link below and go watch that video. If you're listening and you want to see some things, then there are links below in the description, so you can go to the website, check it out, watch the videos, and all the things. And if they want to contact you, if they have questions, is it best typically to call?
Yeah, absolutely. They could do that, or they could also submit an inquiry through our website, and that goes straight to me as well. So we make sure we reach out.
Perfect. Well, anything else you want to hop in here before we get off the call today? I mean, this is awesome. I think you guys brought up some really, really good points today for people to think about, for those shops that have slowed down, some things that they can do, some things to focus on. And then also, it's always cool, whether you're going to get it or not, it's always good to know what the new equipment is on the scene. What is the latest and greatest? Where are we going in the industry with what are we doing? So even if you're not interested in even buying it today, check it out. I feel like education is one of the most powerful things we can do for ourselves.
It really is. Knowledge is power. It really is.
Hey, so Kevin, I'm just sitting there thinking, do you think we could maybe offer something special to the viewers today? If they were to make the investment on one of the Chisholm frame machines or one of the Chisholm systems, maybe something?
We have, right now we have with the factory incentives, depending on either the Bronco or the Bronco XL, these you can save anywhere from $8,000 to almost $12,000 now with the promos that we have going on. But if somebody, I know it's
crazy.
It is really, and if you look at machines, what they sell for in that range is astronomical. I mean, it's a super value on a high quality product. But well, this that they could, even if they're getting it through the factory special, if they mention that they heard us on this podcast, we'll throw in an air jack, like a 3-bag air jack, which has almost an $1,100 value on top of that, and they can still get the factory savings that the special that they're running on it, which is a promo from the factory. So they'll save a ton of money, and we'll give them another mentioning where they heard this.
Nice.
Yeah. And those factory incentives are through the end of June, correct, Kevin?
Yeah. Okay. Wow. Well, thank you guys. So if you're listening and if you're interested in one of the Chisholm frame machines that we're talking about, it sounds like the factory special goes through the end of June. But if you call Lombard and mention that you heard it on the Body Banging podcast, they're also going to throw in a free air jack 3-bag that's worth about $1,000 free. So you get that also. Wow. Thank you guys so much. That's so kind.
Absolutely. And Vicki, why don't you do this just to set the tempo? Why don't we stop by the first one? We'll have your name on
it. There you go. Perfect.
He doesn't stop.
He doesn't.
By example, I love this. Wow.
Yes. Sign me up. It's just what I need at my house. My husband will be thrilled.
Well, what a step by. know what? Hopefully you didn't go crazy on Father's Day with him, and you sneak this in a week or two, you're going to have him looking like that Indian standing in front of the trash. Oh my gosh, he is going to love it.
I was actually thinking that was a nice graduation gift is more what I was thinking.
Oh, right. Yes, my daughters. Yes, they would definitely be appreciative. Yeah, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you doing that for our listeners. We have great listeners, as you guys know. And if you're listening, you are one of them. So take advantage of the special. Lombard's information is in the show notes. So reach out. You can do it through the inquiry on the website. You can call one of the numbers. Make sure you mention that you heard it on the Body Banging podcast. So you can get your free gift with purchase. We're going to do the manufacturer factory specials run through June, and then you get that free air jack for an additional $1,000. I mean, you're saving a lot of money, and I love a free gift. I'm just going to say, I do love a free gift. Sold.
Absolutely.
Having us, Mickey.
Yeah, thank you guys both for coming on. I appreciate you being a sponsor, not only at the Southeast Collision Conference, but also of this segment of the Body Banging podcast. Always so fun. It's always an adventure to get on with you both.
Thank you.
Yes. And for all you listeners, thank you for listening. Make sure you're subscribed. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that notification bell so you don't miss an episode. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, you can click that follow button so you don't miss an episode either. And stay tuned as we've got more amazing episodes from the Southeast Collision, sponsored by Lombard Equipment. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We have some incredible topics and guests coming your way you will not want to miss. If you are watching on YouTube and don't want to miss the latest and greatest, you'll want to hit the bell after subscribing, so you will get a pop-up each time a video podcast goes live. To our devoted fans, would you mind paying it forward and sharing this little gem with someone else you think may benefit from it? Much love from all of us here at Body Bangin', all things auto body.